Hello everybody, welcome to another installment of the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. I'm Pug, and here's what I'm thinking. It's been a while since I've done an opinion piece for a while, hasn't it? With me going to all of the games. And the funny thing is I almost went to another one for free, but then it didn't work out. As far as games go, I know there's one more in the future, but I'll tease you guys and you'll have to wait and see which game I go to. Later on this month, and then after that, don't know. Once again, kind of in a transitional part of my life. If you've seen my MLB TTC videos, so that's what's going on. Anyway, I'm going to be supporting two teams today. First one, Central Washington University, my alma mater. Why is this? Well, Mike Riley, a quarterback that I keep hyping up, and the quarterback that I keep waiting to see in some sort of football organization, has just been picked up by the BC Lions of the Canadian Football League. He's on the practice squad right now. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. And I hope this time it works out. It works out in some sort of form if you're a starter or backup. Just to recap, Riley, of course, went to Central, broke pretty much every single offensive record or record for a quarterback, signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, got cut, then signed with the active roster with the St. Louis Rams last year, got cut, signed with the Seattle Seahawks, got cut, and now he's on the BC Lions. So hopefully this will work out. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going to the Canadian Football League. So, all right, so let's get the first opinion piece in a while going, shall we? So let's start off by saying congratulations to the Seattle Storm for winning on Thursday against the Chicago Sky. With the win, Seattle is now 22-2 on the season. I have a stat about that later on, so keep watching. They've already clinched a playoff berth. They're the #1 seed in the Western Conference, and they're on their way to having the best record in the Women's National Basketball Association, also known as the WNBA. Now, I'm going to present a problem with this, and then I'm going to give you my take on the Storm getting into the playoffs. And yes, there is a huge problem with the team in Seattle being #1. Yeah, there is. You would think there wouldn't be, but in this situation, it's a little different. It's quite aggravating, actually. Here's the problem with the Seattle Storm having their current record. No one is watching or talking about them. Jeez, I mean, just if you listen to sports talk radio in Seattle, we hear about the Mariners flirting with their worst record in franchise history. We hear about the Seattle Sounders being a disappointment after having a great expansion season. We hear about how great Jake Locker is supposedly going to be with the Huskies when he hasn't done much to begin with. And we hear about the Seattle Seahawks starting training camp as they get ready for their season. That I can kind of understand. But where is the Storm? I mean, just because this is a female team, it has nothing to do with why we should be ignoring them. I mean, I understand the WNBA has a few problems. It's small. It never will be as big as the NBA as long as the NBA owns the league. And the season is during the summertime. But still, these players are working so hard to bring this city a championship again, first time since 2004 when they won it against the Connecticut Sun. And I'm upset about this because one of my favorite websites posted an article a couple of weeks ago saying how depressing Seattle sports were this summer. And this website covers everything. They even cover the Washington State Cougars, and they completely forgot about the Storm. I mean, the Storm are Seattle's hottest ticket right now. I mean, they're a professional team. They just happen to be a different sex than the Mariners, Seahawks, and Sounders. I mean, it's really not that big a deal. Now, as I said before, I'm going to mention a stat with the 22-2 record. Now, if having the best record in the WNBA does not grab your attention, here's something that will. With the win against the Chicago Sky, and with that 22-2 record, the Seattle Storm set a new record in Seattle professional sports history. They now are off to the best start in Seattle professional sports history, surpassing the 1980 Seattle Sounders of the North American Soccer League. So this team is even in the record books as one of the best teams ever in Seattle So start giving this team the credit they deserve. I mean, nobody's talking about it, but that's a huge milestone. That's a huge milestone. So, all right, that's the problem with it. Now, here's my take on the Storm going into the playoffs. Now, getting into the playoffs, as I said in a previous entry, was never a concern of mine. Winning in the playoffs is what I'm worried about. This team is overdue. I've said this a bazillion times. This team is overdue for a championship. What they need to do is make sure number 15, Lauren Jackson, stays healthy. If she goes down with an injury, the season's up in the air. They have proven they cannot win without Lauren Jackson the last 2 years. The Western Conference of the WNBA, for those of you who do not know, is the weaker conference, so the Storm should be able to take care of opponents for at least the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, but they were supposed to do that in 2008. They were supposed to do that last year. And then in 2006, 2007, they kind of just, were fighting for that 4th seed to get into the playoffs. So I won't count those years. But these last 2 years, they should have been able to win at least one playoff series. So, and to even go further with that, they haven't won a playoff series since they won the championship in 2004. So, as the season starts to end, it's time to take it one game at the time. The last couple of spots in the Western Conference are up for grabs, so we don't know who Seattle will play yet. But now is the time to take it a little easy and make sure they end the season on a healthy note. It's also time to be watching and talking about the Storm and giving them credit. After all, they have the best record in the league, and they're off to the best start in Seattle professional sports history. So, go Storm. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment below, and we'll see you next week on another installment of the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse.